Everyone, I'd like to call to order the regular regional council meeting for February 24th and acknowledge that the Northern Rockies Administration Center is located in the heart of the traditional territory of the Dene, Cree, and Denesaw people of Fort Nelson and Prophet River First Nations. We further recognize the rights provided by our treaty and also celebrate the contributions and the enduring presence of the Métis people in our region. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is available for the public. To attend virtually is being streamed and recorded. Are there any additions, Council? CAO?
No, Mayor.
Public comment period, nothing? Okay, looking for an adoption of tonight's agenda. Councillor Roper, second by Councillor Enox, all in favor? Motion carries. And looking at adoption of minutes for the Committee of the Whole, February 7th, February 10th, and Regional Council meeting of February the 10th. Councillor Andrews, seconded by Councillor Enox, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none. Moving on to the proclamations. Okay, it's a little bit long. Stay with me. Okay. So Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Proclamation Purple Day, March 26th of 2025. Whereas Purple Day is celebrated on March 26th annually during Epilepsy Awareness Month to increase the knowledge and understanding of epilepsy in the community. And whereas Purple Day was founded in 2008 by Cassidy Megan, a 9-year-old girl from Nova Scotia who wanted people living with epilepsy to know that they were not alone. Whereas on Purple Day, people in communities around the world are encouraged to wear purple and host events in support of epilepsy awareness. And whereas increasing epilepsy awareness can help the public to recognize common seizure types or to respond with appropriate first aid. And whereas the onset of epilepsy can occur at any stage of life and does not discriminate against age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, socioeconomic status, geographic location, or sexual orientation. And whereas Purple Day can improve the quality of life for people living with epilepsy, create a society that embraces the beauty of difference and helps us understand how we all come together to make the world a better place. Now, therefore, I, Lorraine Gerwing, Deputy Mayor of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 26th, 2025 as Purple Day in the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality. Is there anybody here to accept the proclamation? Okay, great. Thank you. Bringing us to petitions delegations. So the Fort Nelson Snowmobile Club, I think we have Wayne Wheeler and Gary Millay. Welcome. You wanted to make a presentation to council? Please. Okay, just go to the top of the table there. Yeah, wherever you want.
Can we get them to go around to the side? I can't see directly below the TV.
Okay, that's where they're headed, Marriott. So just, yeah, when you're comfortable, press the speak button and go. You have up to 15 minutes.
Mayor, councilors, thank you for having us tonight. Last time I was here, we did a presentation where the monitor was, so that was quite a while ago. We did up a pamphlet and sent you a request for annual funding of up to $15,000 yearly. The club has been around for 25 plus years. I've been president for 11 plus. Gary has been vice for 10 plus years. Just a few things to speak on before we turn it over back to the councilors. In March of 2022, I started an application with the Trans-Canada Trail, and that was approved in January of 23. And we added that trail system on hours to parallel the Alaska Highway from mile 301 out to approximately mile 320. And doing that, that would allow us to have cross-country skiers out there, walkers, snowshoers, pedal bikes, and we even registered a section for Prosper Gillis and his family for their horseback. We have had people from out of town come and use the trail systems for tourism purposes, profit members, Fort Liard members, people from Fort St. John. And I guess we were asking for some funding because the raffles are getting harder and harder to do, and we're making minimal money. I think our last raffle, we made $100. And lastly, without the residents and the volunteers of Fort Nelson, I don't think this club would exist. And we like to thank everybody for their support over the years. Thank you.
Anything to add, Gary? Did you want to?
Yeah, just to add to what Wayne was saying, that over the last 4 years, we've also seen increase in people using the trails, but our memberships are going down. And I know our town is in the tough time right now. So that's another thing. At one time, I think we had 130 plus members, and I think we're perhaps 81, somewhere 80 this year. So it's been slowly going down, but we have noticed more increase on the trails. It's just, and we have no way to make people use the trails. So that's one of our issues as well. And then we've tried to take many advantages of grants that have been offered, but being a small club, one of our biggest issues was, in order to have these grants, you readily have to have money available. And that sometimes is a major concern. Some of them are a 50-50 split, and then some other grants are a 70-30. But even then, our bank account is pretty small. And the other thing, as in the package, we look after 2 snowcats. One is a 1986, which if there's anything goes wrong with that unit right now, there is no replacement parts. And even to buy one, we're looking at minimum 35 to 50,000 for a older used one. So that's some of the issues that we're facing, and we would have to take care of that here pretty quick because that unit is pretty much on its last legs. That's pretty much what I have to add.
Great. Okay, I'll open it up to council then. Mayor, did you have any questions or comments?
I did, gentlemen. Thank you very much for the presentation. Certainly the service that your club provides to the community is a benefit to the community. You answered a couple of my questions already. One was how many users out there are not part of the club, and so I guess the second part of that question is, are you doing anything to actively sort of recruit some of those people that are using the trails that aren't members? I guess that's one question. Second question, and I think Wayne, you touched on the fact that you do have other sources of revenue that you attempt to fundraise for. I'm just wondering what your total income is, because your report talks about expenses but doesn't talk about some of the revenue that you guys create. So I'm interested in the revenue, and I'm interested in what you're doing to try to recruit some of those folks who are using the trails that you guys are maintaining. So those are the first 2 questions that I have, if you might have some answers to those.
Well, one of the issues with addressing people on the trail is that because the agreement with Rec Sites and Trails, we have no way of actually limiting people on the trail or doing it. So most of the thing, what happened is, if we threw out on our daily rides and we meet people out there, a lot of times we'll ask them if they got a permit and support the club. We have signs up all on our trails, in our shelters, again, to let people know that, right, if you want to support what we're doing, right? Buy a membership. We do have them posted everywhere. And the other question, Mr. Mayor, was about some of
Revenue.
the funding.
Yeah, what your
Revenues.
revenue coming in.
Yeah, revenue stream pretty much is, like I said, with 80 members, even if we talk $80 an adult, I mean, that's $6,400, but that doesn't include, kids are only $40 and seniors are $40. And if you're a non-member, like skiing or whatever, it would be like a $40. So that's pretty much our main revenue that comes in, but through raffles, the last one, like I said, Wayne said, was not very good, and the 3 previous to that, the numbers were getting smaller, but I can provide a financial statement if required. I know my wife does the book, so there's not a problem to get a financial where we sit.
Yeah, I was just interested. I know there's a lot of little small fundraising that you do. I just was looking for sort of what the cumulative amount might be of all of it. I think you do a poker run as well. I don't know if you donate all that money away or if you've got it. I did notice, and I mean, I don't have it right in front of me, that in your submission to us, there was a section in there on donations. So I guess, so your club is donating as well to other organizations, or what's that donation line about?
This year for our night poker run, we usually do a 50-50 and keep the proceeds for the club and put it towards our insurance or whatever. But I think this year we've decided to give back to the community and help out Curtis and his family. His wife is going through brain cancer, and we'd like to put that money back to him.
Right. Okay, just was wondering what those were about, but I think probably a financial statement as part of a application for funding would be important. Those are the questions that I had, Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mayor. Anyone else around the council table? Questions, comments? Okay, well, Councilor Roper?
Just a thank you for the presentation and for all the hard work you guys are putting into the club to keep it going. It really sounds like a labor of love. So thank you for that and for benefiting the town. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Great.
My questions were answered in the presentation.
And that was going to be my comment as well, just expressing my gratitude for having these trails out and open to everybody, whether they can afford a membership or not. I know that we're all feeling the effects of what our community is going through in the last number of years, and there are people that can still get out onto the trails but can't necessarily afford a membership. So it's great that it's open for those people as well. So we're looking tonight like it's first heard deferred, so we won't be making a decision tonight on, I would encourage you to connect with staff and go through the application process that we have. And then that brings it to the budget table. And then when we are discussing the budget for 2026, 2025, sorry, then we'll make the decision then. So unless council has any different direction, that would be my recommendation, that you connect with staff and go through that application process.
Okay, yeah, that's something we can do. I'd like to just add, yesterday, while I was out installing signage for safety and everything, there was 2 people cross-country skiing on the trail with their dogs. And on my way home, leaving the demo forest, there was a danger tree, or as they call widowmakers, hanging on the side of the trail. And I immediately called Bernard, and we ended up hiring him and getting him out, and Dr. Lupu and her friends ran by as we were getting ready to remove that
Oh, wow.
hazard
Okay,
for the community.
good. Thank you. Great.
And
Gary?
the only thing I would like to add is for the financial statement, there's no problem for me to get that here.
Okay.
Just bring it to the office or,
Well, when you go through that application
Application,
process,
okay.
yeah, you'll include the financial statement
Perfect.
in with that. Okay.
thank you.
Good, great. Thank you very much for attending tonight. Okay, good to see you. Okay, taking us to reports, bylaws and policies. So admin report 11/25. So, hello, Jasmine. The mic is yours. Sorry, Miss Glaves.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This report outlines an opportunity for the roof replacement of the Fire Hall and Public Works facility, which is part of the ongoing renewal efforts for the building. The project is fully funded through the Investing in Canada Fund, and today staff are seeking approval for award to the lowest compliant bidder, which is DM Henderson Roofing.
Great, thank you. Any questions, comments? Counselor Andrews?
I'd like to make a motion that the Fire Hall and Public Works Facility Roof Replacement Project be awarded to DM Henderson Roofing Limited in the amount of $246,618 plus applicable taxes.
Okay, do I have a seconder?
Second.
Counselor Roper? Any discussion around the motion? Oh, Counselor Souls.
I'm just curious if these bids came as a surprise to you, or were they actually in? It's quite a variation.
Yeah, it is quite the fluctuation. It's the lowest compliant bidder is actually 50,000 less than our cost estimate. So that's great. But yeah, quite a wide range of pricing, although most of the submissions are around Dawson Creek bidders, Fort St. John. So it's not within one certain region. It kind of spreads out a little bit. So
Good.
Good. All right, so I'll call the motion. All in favor? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, report 12. Ms. Shepherd. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This report is for information. It's just meant to highlight where the NRM is at with the Accessible BC Act compliance with the Act, and provide a highlight of the work that's done so far. The Northern Rockies Accessibility and Inclusion Plan is there for your information, and an annual report was just completed as well, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions, council? Mayor?
I've just got a comment about, as I read through the plan and then I read through the report, it's good to see that the report is reflecting the plan, that things are getting done in the community, and it all seems to be working. So congratulations to the committee and everybody that's involved.
Great. I'd had one comment too when I read through the report and the reports actually. So is it a living document, like changes will be made? I just asked that question because the way the report is written and the way I'm reading the report around the elevator and the chairlift, it looks like that is going to happen in 2024 to 2026. And I don't know that is necessarily, like, that decision hasn't been made as far as I know. So that was my question around, it's open to being refined or changed, or, yeah, that's.
Right, so the accessibility plans are a 3-year document. So when it was drafted, it was based on the grant application for accessibility improvements to bring up Town Square. Of course, things have changed or will change. And so I think that's part of why we'll do that annual report, so that we can keep track of changes. And, as one initiative might not be able to be prioritized that year, it is an opportunity to share where work is being undertaken to continue to improve accessibility. So yeah, because it was a 3-year report, it's in that 2024, 25, 26.
Yeah, I guess I'm was looking maybe for the words consider as opposed to
Mhm.
this is what could happen or
Yeah.
will happen, right? So, but that was my only comment. Other than that, yeah, I thought it was a really great report and nice to see the engagement and also the number of meetings and the community's involvement in this committee. So it's very important, and it's really continues to amaze me how our community comes out to support these committees. So yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, number 13. I know that chair is haunted. Hello. Sorry. Mr. Cavalier, welcome.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, Mayor, councilors, and esteemed colleagues. I'm here tonight to get the council's blessing to apply for another grant from UBCM. This is on the EOC side. In the past, successful applications have resulted in us being able to purchase radio equipment, computers, that sort of thing. In this particular application, our intent is to purchase an EOC trailer. Right now, we are still renting one that our equipment is housed in at the Cameron Building. And we'd like to buy additional equipment for a secondary EOC location. So that'll be the two items that we're seeking as part of this application.
Great, thanks. Mayor, do you have any questions or comments?
I do not. Thank you.
Anyone around the council table? All right, what are the wishes of council? I see an option there, Councillor Andrews.
I'd like to make a motion that a grant. Sorry, let me collect myself here. I'd like to make a motion that a grant application be submitted to the Union of British Columbia Municipalities 2025 Community Emergency Preparedness Fund to fund up to 40,000 of eligible costs for the purchase of Emergency Operations Center supplies and equipment.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Enox. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to report number 14, and it just occurred to me, I haven't been reading the titles of the report, so it's number 14 is the 2025 Council Committee and Representative Appointments for Decisions. So apparently we are doing this annually, and it's like 10 pages long, but I was told I don't have to read them all out. It reflects the mayor's appointments as was read out at the last council meeting. So I'm looking for a motion to approve as presented in this report. Thank you, Councillor Enoch, seconded by Councillor Roper. Is there any discussion around the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Excellent, motion carries. Thank you. And taking us to correspondence and information packages. So for information, we have the letter from Margaret Little, President of Save Our Northern Seniors. The NRM letter to Ravi Pamar, Minister of Forests. Letter from the Honorable Pascal Saint-Onge, Minister of Canadian Heritage. And then we had the recreation statistics. So I think I need a motion to accept, right? Yep, Councillor Enoch, seconded by Councillor Andrews. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. New business items, we didn't have any additions. So standing items for discussion, councillor reports. Councillor Enoch.
This past weekend was a crazy busy one. We had the U11 and U15 Neural Finals here in Fort Nelson. Teams from out of town, although it didn't end very well for our Fort Nelson teams, they played hard. They had their whole heart into it. So I'm sure by this morning, they've all forgotten about it. And
No, they haven't. Oh, they have not.
I hope so. Anyways, there's always next year. I spent the weekend at the museum cooking bannock Saturday and Sunday, except for when I escaped to watch the last game on Sunday. Jamie took over for me. Normally, I take the leftover bannock to Ryan to the fire hall. So it's kind of different this year. Greg was there and I dropped off a big bowl and he gave me a tour of that Cameron building.
Yeah.
It is amazing. The room they have in there, it's incredible. So with a little luck, I'm hoping that, you know, maybe it will be their home one day. The ambulance tenants were quite happy. IGA staff and the rec staff got a bunch of bannock as well. And then this morning I popped into the library and Danica gave me a tour of the library. So I'll be joining their meetings and as well as the School District 81. I popped in there today.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
yeah, their meeting's tomorrow, so I'll be attending. That's it.
Oh, good for you. So you're attending the board meeting?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing.
Yep.
Can we just touch base, go fish? Just, I
Oh,
know
right.
it's, we don't want to mention what happened last year, just to see if our dugouts will be filled up this spring.
Okay,
That's it.
so we'll make, yeah, make note of that. That will ensure that that happens
Just
this
so
year.
don't forget about us.
Yep. And when Counselor Enox first mentioned that to me, and I thought she was talking about the dating app. Like, God, why would we be talking about the dating app at the council meeting?
I didn't even know there was a dating app called that.
Right. Thank you, Counselor Enox. Any other counselor reports? Mayor, did you have, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So after last council meeting, I guess it was February 13th, I attended our Community Fire Smart Resiliency Committee meeting. And I just wanted to bring you up to date on a couple of things. There's a great discussion again, as usual. There's a few questions and action items that came out of there for staff, Terry to look after. I think probably the biggest thing is, or one of the biggest things, I guess, is there'll be another iteration of the terms of reference. Probably the most controversial, I guess, or something to talk about is the fact that there's really a recommendation from the committee that travel expenses, necessary travel expenses, be paid for the folks who are coming down from particularly Toad River. In the event that they can't make it home, I think they're looking for hotel expenses to be covered and perhaps mileage when they come down for the meeting. So that'll be coming to you in a report with several other changes to the terms of reference as well. A couple of things, I think they're still having discussions, but they are looking for a bit of an economic impact study to be done that really showed the devastation of the fires and how it impacted us from an economic perspective, and ultimately we can add to that the cultural perspective, you know, and the concerns that people have moving forward. It really has changed the mindset of people in the community, and so I think the committee is looking for some assistance on how to pull something like that together that they can use in, you know, future discussion, that we can use, all of us can use in future discussions when it comes to lobbying or advocating, and what that fire actually, you know, besides just the damage to the environment, the impacts that it had to the community. Happy to say that their survey is near complete with respect to the questions, and a few of them are going through the latest iteration of that, and it should be rolling out probably in the next couple of weeks, I would suggest, to the community. I think they've got it down to about 20 questions. I saw an iteration today, but I didn't get a chance to open it up, so I'm not sure exactly how many, but we're getting it down to the nitty gritty on that. A couple of great ideas around a potential water development, you know, having bulk water available in different places in the community. I mean, obviously that's a construction project that might have to happen, but they're working on that and trying to flush those ideas out as well. I think the last thing I want to talk about is there's a lot of discussion around doing burns of those piles at the 301 site, and the community forest did that in conjunction with now I just forget, an agency in BC that helps to fund that sort of thing, and it's right on the tip of my tongue, but it's gone. Anyways, they can't burn those piles until they get authorization from the Ministry of Forest Finance branch. There's something about getting you know, understanding how much wood is in those piles that could have been utilized and the stumpage that needs to be paid on it. And you know, I think the community, yes, the community forest is having
charge us stumpage.
yeah, well, it's Yeah, when they push that stuff, they push those piles, potentially they're pushing wood in there that could have been utilized somewhere. And so there's policies around that. There's a provincial average that can be used, but for some reason the Ministry of Forest doesn't want to let our community forest use the provincial average and just go ahead and give us a permit to burn. And of course, this is timely because we want to do it while there's snow on the ground. But the problem with it is that you can't do an inventory on what kind of wood might be in those piles as long as there's snow on them. So we're in a catch-22 there, and the committee might be looking for our assistance to really try to bring some pressure somewhere. And I think they're still trying to figure out where that might be. Community Forest, of course, is talking to the Ministry of Forests all the time. Or sorry, yeah, the Community Forest is talking to the Ministry of Forests, trying to work their way through there. But this might be something that will come all the way up to council and probably another letter to the minister. And I guess the very last thing I'd like to say is that our letter to the minister with respect to actioning the holdover fires was successful. They're in town now, and they're working on a plan. They might even actually be putting equipment on the ground now to action those holdover fires. So that letter recommendation that came from the committee to us, and the letter had some impact. So and apparently we'll be seeing a response to that letter soon. So those were the things that we talked about at the last meeting. A great discussion at this committee, and I really hope that we can get some more action from our partners.
Thanks, Mayor. Councillor Souls wanted to respond.
Yeah, just a response to the Ministry of Forests and their waste assessment requirements on that on non-salvaged piled burnt wood beside the highway. I suggest that when you have a moment to talk to the community forest, ask them how the lengths they went to jumping through hoops to try to get that wood salvaged, permit for salvaging that wood, and ask them who blocked it.
Okay.
Okay. I have, Councillor Andrews, go ahead.
Just something really quick. I was supposed to be in a meeting on the 14th. That's the Northern Rockies Roundtable meeting. I had some technical difficulties and I happened to miss it, but I should be able to meet the Northeast Roundtable. It'll have an update of the Northern Rockies and cover it all on the 26th.
Great. Okay. Thank you. I just had 2 meetings, which was highly unusual in a 2-week period. Like, I know. February 12th, I attended the Senior Service Gap Community Meeting. A discussion was held with community members and service providers around gaps in services to seniors, what that's going to look like or what could look like into the future. As you all know, we don't have any dementia care in our community, so very often our elders are having to leave the community, which doesn't work for anyone. But this is an informal group in the beginning stages of development, and stay tuned for further updates. I think that they're going to be another very active, engaged committee. And also on the 12th, I attended the Grace Manor board meeting. And just because Councillor Enox brought up the 2 unfortunate losses, I do have to say the U13s from Fort Nelson in Taylor won the banner. They brought it home today, so we had success there. So that's it for me. Let me turn that. Okay. Where am I? Right. Business outstanding. Nothing. Okay. Anybody have any notice of motion? Seeing none. Public news media question and answer period. Anything around budget? Priorities set by council or council business? Okay. Seeing none, we can adjourn. Great. Thank you.
Good talk, everybody.